Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to make some quick and easy Girl Scout swaps if your country happens to be Sweden this year for thinking day, as my girls the easiest one to make is the Swedish flag. So what you want to do is start with a rectangle of cardstock, and this is great for your scraps. You probably won't want a little darker than this, so I'm just going to use my ink to ink it up and make it a little bit darker on the edges. And you're going to need some yellow ribbon or some thin strips of yellow cardstock. So, you know, you could use a little darker of blue. I just had that, and these are just some mock-ups, so the girls are going to decide what they end up wanting to do tonight, but I thought that would be good to give them a few ideas. So I'm just using some regular white glue, and I am just going to draw the lines where the yellow stripes go for the Swedish flag. Well, actually, I was just going to put my little cap in there. I guess I don't need to because I'll be using this over and over again. And I'm going to cut off a couple little pieces of ribbon. Now, if you're doing this with kids, I would recommend that you, or if you girls are planning this for the other girls in your troop, I recommend that you pre-cut as much as possible so you won't have everyone fighting over scissors. Okay, and then you can actually let this dry, and that's probably the best bet, but since, you know, we're just doing a video here, I'm just going to trim these off now using my ribbon shears. Alright, but paper strips would be just as cute. Then on the back of this you can write your troop name and your town, and you could put a little hole in there for hanging with a safety pin, a traditional Girl Scout swap. You could also laminate any of these. Well, you can laminate these two if you want to have it extra durable, so just another little idea there. So this one is also easy, and it's Swedish Meatballs. So what you want to do is just take an oval of cardstock, and you could use a punch or a die cut or cut it by hand or just trace something to get a bunch of ovals. And you don't have to ink the edges, I just think it gives it a little dimension. And notice I'm sticking with the colors of the flag for all the crafts here. We're going to use some yarn for the spaghetti here, which I don't know if they really have spaghetti with their meatballs in Sweden, but I didn't know if the brown circles on a oval would look like meatballs on a plate if I didn't use that. And I'm going to use hot glue for this, but I urge you to use like thick and tacky glue. If you have it, white glue, just regular thin white glue probably is not going to cut it as far as holding this yarn down. Notice I'm not like sticking my fingers right in that glue. I'm just kind of gently pressing it from the top of my fingernails. And then I'll actually use like a tool, like a chopstick or something or a popsicle stick to press it down there in the glue so it doesn't come apart. Okay, I'm just going to use the end of this brush here just to tap some of those in. But again, thick and tacky glue will work just fine. I just didn't want to, I wanted this to grab quickly so that you guys could see the whole project. Okay, so we got our spaghetti on the plate. There we go. And we're going to use I like glue strings, making that thing pop all over the place. I'm going to use this punch and some brown cardstock. And I'm going to punch out however many meatballs you want. 1, 2, 3. How about 5 on this plate? I was wondering how 5 would look. So we'll try that. And you can use your tacky glue to glue this down, which I recommend. I'm just going to put 5 daubs here because I'm in a hurry. And you know, you may want to pre-punch a bunch of these and also have the paper punch on hand for the girls to use if you're doing this in a big group. Here we go. Our troops end up making about 200 swaps for our Thinking Day celebration, so it is quite a bit of work. Now you can leave it just like that because I think that looks like meatballs, but if you want to make it extra cool, just go and add some white, any white glue is fine for this. I'm just using that same glue I glued that ribbon down to with, and add some glue on top of the meatballs. And you can't use hot glue for this because it dries too quick. And then what we're going to do is add some flocking to this. And hopefully we can do that without making too much of a mess. So I think I'll use my little palette knife here because I can get out just a little bit. And I'm going to want to do this on a piece of cardstock that I can pick up because any leftover flocking can be put back in the container. So what I'm going to do is just put that right on there. Now it may look like it's using a lot, but it really isn't because anything that doesn't stick to this glue after it's all dry can be poured back into the container. I'm going to give it a little press. I don't know if meatballs really should be fuzzy, but they should have some sort of texture to them. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't know for sure, but they definitely should have a little bit of texture to them. So I'm just tapping it in a little bit, trying not to get the glue on my palette knife, and you can use a popsicle stick. I just happen to have this on my table. I'm going to tap off the extra. Okay, and when that dries, the glue's going to be clear, and we're going to have fuzzy meatballs. Hopefully they'll look just kind of textured like meatballs do. Alright, so that's our second idea, and see, when you're done, just like glitter, you just tap it right into the container, and then there's no waste, which that's, you know, Girl Scouts are supposed to use their resources wisely, so that's what we're doing here. Now the final one is the traditional woven heart, but we're not going to make it like a basket that opens, because that would be really hard to do at this size, and it'd be very time consuming to do as a when you have to make a bunch for a swap. So what I'm going to do is I've cut 2 pieces of paper. They're about 1 inch by 2 inches long. It doesn't have to be exact, but that's a great size to start at, because if you have any extra at the end, we just trim it away, so don't worry about that. Alright, so we've rounded one end, and I'm cutting these together. And then I'm going to cut one slit up the center, and then I'm going to cut a line in between these two. Okay. And then the weaving is going to take some time, so you guys could probably cut these as you go in your troop meetings, because, you know, you're going to be spending some time weaving. You're not going to be waiting for scissors the whole time like you would if you were cutting other things. Alright, and then it's just an over, under, because remember, we're not making a basket that has to open. We're just making a one-sided heart here. And this will just be like the traditional Norwegian craft, or Swedish woven heart. So Sweden was kind of a challenging country to find unique swaps for, but hopefully these will help you girls come up with some really fun swaps for your thinking day. So these are a little long on the ends. That's alright. It's better to have them a little long because they're easier to weave. So you're going to pull everything in nice and tight, and then just go ahead and trim off the extra. Be as neat as you can. And then you could just leave it like this and glue a ribbon on the back. But what I'm going to do, and actually I made a mistake on that one, I'm going to cut a piece of that same yellow ribbon, because I like to keep the colors symbolic and constant. So we're using the colors of the flag here. And you can use any white glue for this because it's just paper, but I've got my hot glue, so I'm using more than you need. You don't need that much hot glue. But I'm going to use hot glue for that. And I'm just going to catch the ends in here. And then got it stuck to my fingernail. Yes, definitely use white glue with your troops here. I'm going to put that right on that little scalloped heart that I cut earlier. I probably should trim that down a little bit because it's not exactly even all the way around like my other one is, but that's alright. I still think it's pretty cute, and you could hook it to a safety pin to so the girls could wear it on their vests, and all of these have room on the back for writing your name and troop number. So I think that these would be some really cute swaps to do for Thinking Day this year if your country is Sweden. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I also have Girl Scout ideas for China on my blog, The Frugal Crafter, and I'll try to put a link below to that too so you can check that out. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.